Storytelling in Ireland is very, very old. Until very recently, there were still people around who recited the old stories in the manner of the court bards. And we know this because we've recordings of the recent fellas who did this, and women also, and we have the written texts from some of the stories that were collected by people in the 1800s and so forth. And they haven't varied very much, and they've kept fairly true. The oral tradition is very strong. In Druidic schools, we're told that it became 20 years to become a Druid, and rote learning was a very important part. And they would weed out those that were incompatible with their ways over the course of those years of apprenticeship. And there's a story that was probably told in Ireland for 2,000 years. Now, we happen to know Roman history. We know that they didn't actually come to Ireland. The records are pretty firm on that. However, this was a story told, and people listening to this would have believed it. And the first part of this is almost a direct, the first line of this is a direct translation of the Irish, and it goes this: Finn McCool and his comrades were fishing, hunting, and swimming in the Shannon River when word came to them that the King of Rome and of all the world, but not of Ireland, had landed his ships of the Skelligs, which are islands, would be a generous term for them, the rock outcroppings off the coast of Kerry. So Finn and his comrades respond to this, and on the beach, Finn would dispatch one of his champions down to fight, and his champions routinely killed 100 Romans a day. And this battle went on for a year and a day, and at the end of it all, the King of Rome and of all the world, but not of Ireland, left. Now that would have been recited in Irish and then eventually in English. And so much so that it's interesting too that there's one of those old stone crosses, the big ones with the circle around the middle, the Celtic crosses. They often have stone carvings of biblical stories. There's a crucifixion scene, and the baddest people the Irish knew were not Romans, because we didn't experience them, but Vikings. And so there are clearly Vikings that are doing the crucifixion of Christ in this particular tablet. And it's the way history works, interestingly enough. Now I'm going to sing a song about the classical Greeks, because this is one song I know. Come and sit in a while, and I'll tell you a story. Recall faded glories and honor the dead, and I hope that a smile might crack all of your faces, and care nor worry escape from your heads. I'll tell of some lads of exceptional qualities, all of them geniuses truly unique. Sure, a gambler might bet the last bill in his wallet would wager I'd sing of the classical Greeks. For philosophy mighty and pure cogitation, there's none to compare with the classical Greeks. And if thinking were drinking, and jollification, an ocean of booze wouldn't last but a week. Hippocrates, Plato, and good old Pythagoras, Socrates, Zeno, Pythagoras too. Don't forget Aristotle, his blood should be bottled. Fair play to the whole philosophical crew. Now Homer composed a poetical potion of versification, the best in the world. He juxtaposed Greeks and athletical Trojans, and to the equation he added a girl. He called it the Iliad, rhyming until he had filled up his head and a 10-gallon hat. When he started the Odyssey, friends said, my God, is he going to remember a mouthful like that? Now, Hippocrates, surely, the first of physicians, gave medical science a shot in the arm. A doctor, he said, must obey one condition: whatever you do, don't you do any harm. His mother was proud of his fine occupations, his fortune applauded by folks far and near, but he secretly grieved that his earthly duration preceded the golf club by 2,000 years. So 3 cheers to this classical civilization. May songs in their honor forever be sung. May each singer be granted a standing ovation and glorification from each leather lung. An age of pure gold then reflected their brilliance, but soon we are told the whole joint turned to pot. For though genius infected these Greeks by the millions, not one MBA in the whole sorry lot. Thank you.